Chyna. The name alone conjures images of dominance, strength, and a trailblazer in a world that was once only open to men. As one of the most iconic figures in professional wrestling, Chyna broke barriers, proving that women could not only stand toe-to-toe with their male counterparts but dominate. Her journey to the top was nothing short of legendary. But behind the glitz and glam of the wrestling ring, there was a darker, more complex story. A story of struggles, self-doubt, and an unrelenting fight for respect in a world that wasn't ready for her. This is the untold story of Chyna, the woman who became a queen in the ring but faced heartbreaking battles outside of it. Chyna, born Joni Laura, was a woman who defied expectations from the start. Raised with a love for sports and physicality, she didn't fit the conventional mold of what a woman should be. Her journey into wrestling was nothing short of remarkable. She had no prior experience, but her determination and raw athleticism quickly caught the attention of the WWE. When she entered the ring, she was an imposing figure, standing tall among the men and completely shattering the perception of what a female wrestler could be. But behind the powerhouse persona was a woman grappling with insecurities, feelings of isolation, and an unshakable desire to prove herself. She was often seen as an outsider, someone whose strength and appearance overshadowed the softer, more traditional roles women were expected to play in the industry. Her personal struggles began long before her wrestling career. As a child, she had been bullied for her size, her appearance, and the fact that she didn't conform to societal expectations. Wrestling became her escape, her way to not just prove her worth to the world, but to herself. Yet, as much as the ring gave her purpose, it also became the place where her deepest fears were amplified. The fear of being misunderstood, the fear of never truly belonging. The more success she found, the more she realized that the respect she craved was fleeting, overshadowed by the industry's expectations, media scrutiny, and the battles she fought in her personal life. As Chyna's star continued to rise in the wrestling world, the pressure only grew. She became the first woman to compete in the Royal Rumble and the Intercontinental Champion, proving to the world that she could not only stand on equal footing with the men but dominate. However, the more she accomplished, the more isolated she felt. While fans admired her strength and tenacity, the wrestling world, a world dominated by men, wasn't ready to fully accept her. She faced constant challenges, both professionally and personally, as the media and some of her peers saw her not just as a competitor, but as a threat to their very roles in the industry. Behind the scenes, Chyna's internal struggles became more pronounced. Despite her undeniable success, the insecurities she had carried since childhood never truly left her. She was constantly grappling with the idea that she was more than just her appearance. She was an athlete, a force to be reckoned with, but she felt trapped in a mold that the industry refused to let her escape. The public and personal battles grew, and as her fame skyrocketed, her relationships began to unravel. Chyna found herself feeling abandoned by the very people who were supposed to have her back, including her former partner in wrestling, Triple H. The heartbreak of that breakup, combined with the overwhelming pressures of fame, led her down a path of substance abuse and emotional turmoil. In a moment of clarity, Chyna realized that the wrestling world that had once offered her an escape was now consuming her. She stood at a crossroads. Should she continue to fight for a place in a world that seemed to reject her? Or should she step away and rebuild her life outside of the ring? Chyna's decision to step away from the WWE was not easy. The ring, which had once been her sanctuary, was no longer a place where she felt she could thrive. She had given so much of herself to a world that demanded more than she could offer. And now, the physical toll, the emotional scars, and the weight of her battles felt too much to bear. But even as she left the spotlight, Chyna began to rebuild herself, not just physically, but mentally. After leaving the WWE, Chyna struggled to find her place in a world where she was no longer the dominant figure she once was. Yet, in her solitude, she began to truly understand her worth. She wasn't just the ninth wonder of the world, the powerhouse wrestler. She was Joni Laura, a woman who had fought battles both inside and outside the ring. She started to embrace the idea that her legacy wasn't just about her wrestling achievements, but about how she inspired a generation of women to break free from the confines of expectation. But her demons didn't fade immediately. The road to recovery was long, and Chyna faced many setbacks, including struggles with substance abuse, public scrutiny, and the loneliness that followed the end of her wrestling career. In her later years, Chyna opened up about her struggles, revealing to the world the painful truth about the cost of fame, self-identity, and the personal battles that often go unseen. Despite the hardships, Chyna ultimately found a sense of peace in knowing that her journey had made a lasting impact. She didn't just change the wrestling world, she changed the perception of women in sports and entertainment. Though her life ended tragically too soon, her legacy continues to resonate with those who admired her strength and vulnerability, her refusal to be defined by anyone else's standards. Chyna's journey was one of extraordinary highs and crushing lows, but it was also one of unrelenting strength and self-discovery. She proved that true greatness isn't just about titles or accolades. It's about the courage to face your own fears, to stand tall even when the world tries to tear you down, and to own your story, flaws and all. As the first woman to break so many boundaries in the wrestling world, Chyna's impact goes beyond the ring. Her legacy reminds us that it's not about how many times you fall, but how you rise and how you continue to fight for your truth, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Though Chyna is no longer with us, her influence lives on in every woman who dares to defy the limits placed upon her. Her story, though tragic, is a testament to resilience, strength, and the power of self-acceptance.